name is Lilith. I'm the moderator of tonight, and I'll guide you through the day. And we are delighted to be hosted by Formo. We are located in Formo headquarters, and Formo was once part of the ProVeg Incubator back in 2019. So this is kind of a full circle moment here. I heard that people are streaming in from over 30 countries all over the world. So hi to everyone on the screens. Happy to have you here as well. We are here to get to know ProVeg Incubator cohort number 13. It's sitting over there. And we will listen to your amazing pitches. We have 10 startups pitching today. Brings me to the jury. These people are holding at least 50% of the power tonight. And I'm happy to welcome them. They have the tricky job to grilling the startups in the Q&A, the 3 minutes Q&A part. So founders, these are the people you want to charm and impress, or at least not terrify. So, please welcome Clemens Tischer from Rewe, one of Germany's largest retailer, Sarah Borg from Hochland, a traditional cheesery in southern Germany, Watsuti Chai from Beta Group Venture Capital, based in Thailand. Thanks for coming. Lena Müller from ProVeg Ventures, also based in Germany. Fabio Ziemsen from Zintinus Venture Capital, based in Germany as well. And Divya Murthy joining us from Oyster Bay, based in Hamburg. Give a big round of applause to this amazing jury. Packed and exciting. And now, without any further ado, I welcome Antje Reuscher on stage to give you a short intro to ProVeg Incubator. Welcome, Antje.
So very warm welcome also from my end. It's amazing to see so many friendly faces and the amazing people that make up the ProVeg Incubator community, our cohort 13 startups who are sitting in front of me, a few of our alumni startups who we've supported over the years, our investor friends, we're very grateful to have you, and of course our friends and collaborators. Let me take a moment to introduce the ProVeg Incubator. Most of you are familiar with us, so I'll keep it very short. When we started in 2018, the ambition was to play an active role in this momentum of, oh wow, we are right at the sea, to play an active role of this momentum of innovation, change, and the desire to change the food system for good. And now, 7 years later, we all know a lot has happened. There's been a lot of progress. There's been ups, but also downs. And despite the challenges that the industry is facing today, I and we at the Incubator believe that the mission that we set out at the beginning is as relevant and important as on day one. And with that, I'm super, super happy to welcome you all. It's all about celebrating the achievements of this current cohort for today and really witnessing the progress that they have made. ProVeg Incubator, at our work, it's always been about supporting high-impact food tech startups that have that mission to create impact, to accelerate the protein transition and change the food system to a more healthier, just and sustainable one. And from the very beginning up until now, we have worked with more than 110 alumni startups who have together now went on to raise more than $500 million collectively. And we're super proud that they represent some of the category leaders in their respective work. And we have companies from end consumer products, ingredients innovation, as well as enabling technology. And it's not only like diversity in categories and products that they're innovating on, but we're truly proud to be able to have like a broad global representation. Our startups come from more than 35 countries all over the world. I think by now we have almost every continent covered, and hopefully it will continue like that. And yes, of course, all this work wouldn't be possible without our dear mentors, our network of more than 100 people, experts who are supporting our work, who are supporting the startups, who are giving the generosity through time, network, and experience to help these startups on their journey. And finally, I want to say a big shout out to the team at the ProVeg Incubator who've put not only together this event, but also who've worked very closely with all of the startups tirelessly behind the scenes in the past 5 months. So big thank you to Devika, to Leonardo, to Gabrielle, and to Yasmin. And of course, I'd also love to mention FoodHack. It's a pleasure to be hosting this demo day for cohort 13 together in collaboration with FoodHack. Most of you are familiar with them. They are a global movement of founders and funders who share the passion for scaling impactful solutions and for one of the greatest challenges that we have right now, which is the climate crisis. They are active in more than 50 cities all around the world and have brought together with their events more than 25,000 attendees to date. They have helped dozens of companies and hundreds of individuals break into the climate sector. And every city, as maybe you know, has their own local ambassador network. And very pleased to introduce you the 4 that are representative of Berlin here. And if you want to connect with them, if you have an idea for an event, feel free to reach out to Molina, who is joining us today here in the room, and exchange some notes. All right, and now finally to the main part of the evening, our cohort 13 startups. We've worked very closely with the founders for the past 5 months. It's been an absolute privilege to witness their development and to be part of their journey. And today is all about celebrating that and really showcasing their achievements to a bigger audience. We have 10 companies here today from 8 different countries. And so let me go through them. So first up from Canada, we have Profillet, who are innovating on plant-based whitefish. Then we have Mindful Food Company, also from Canada, who's doing a plant-based honey alternative from discarded apples. We have Updairy, based in Brazil and Singapore, who are creating whey protein using precision fermentation based on filamentous fungi. Then Freundeskreis and Brew Bites from Germany, based here around in close proximity, both using upcycled ingredients, one for a delicious cheese alternative and the other for meat products for the food service category. Then we're moving all the way to Indonesia, to Meatless Kingdom. Meatless Kingdom's innovating on meat alternatives with the fungi and mushroom forward platform. And in Poland, we have MycoVibes, who's doing mycelium protein, as well as Planeat, who are selling a delicious range of plant-based meat and seafood alternatives. And finally, in Israel, we have KaYama, who are developing novel fat ingredients for the food industry, as well as Finally Foods that are creating amazing work on the end of molecular farming using potatoes for casein production. Yes, and with that, I'd love to wrap it up for now, for my part. I want to wish you an amazing evening, and I hope you'll be as inspired by the fantastic work of these 10 companies as we are.
Now we are joined by Ivo Rzegotta from the Good Food Institute, who share his insight keynote on how policy is shaping the future of protein.
Here we are. Good afternoon. And since I learned that people from more than 30 countries are watching as well, I guess it's a good morning and good evening as well. So with people joining from all over the world, thank you for having me today in this location, and I really like being here, and I really like that FORMO is actually an alumni of this program, which really shows the success of this program, since you can buy now FORMO in almost every Rewe here in Berlin and Germany and as well. So today I'm going to talk about policy and about shifting narratives. So I will not talk that much about the state of the industry, because you are the experts in creating those products and working on taste, price, convenience, texture, etc. I really want to talk about narratives today in the current times we are at the moment, and tell you a bit of what's happening at the moment, especially here in Europe. Please excuse that a couple of the thoughts I'm sharing with you are really focused on Europe, but this is not so much because I'm based here in Berlin, and we are in Berlin here today because a lot of things that are not so good at the moment are just happening in Europe at the moment. So first of all, let me introduce the Good Food Institute. If you haven't come across the Good Food Institute, we are a think tank working worldwide. Our mission is really to accelerate protein diversification, bringing alternative proteins, which means, in our understanding, plant-based, fermentation-made and cultivated foods to parity in terms of taste, price and convenience. And worldwide we are around 220 people working on this. Here in Europe we are 40. And we are working in 3 fields. We first are working in scientific, in SciTech. This means we do a little bit of research ourselves, but more importantly, we really map where we are in alternative proteins, where there are white spaces, and try to direct resources there. And also we fund research, etc. We also work with industry, with companies of all sizes, and really makes them aware of all the opportunities in this space and develop resources, etc. I'm a member of our policy team. That is the third area we are working in, really working with policymakers on fields like public funding, like infrastructure, like fair competition, and also smart regulation. So, first of all, I want to talk about the challenges. I will not talk about technical challenges, as I told you, that's your job. But I want to talk a bit the state of play in the technical pillars before going into the policy part. So when we talk about protein diversification, we have a spectrum of solutions, as we all know. On the left side of the slide, you see some less processed things that a couple of people were advocating for 50 years or so. Just let's eat lentils, etc., and this saves the planet. As we all know, this doesn't really work quite well. That's why at the Good Food Institute, we really focus on the right side here, on technical solutions, on really producing the food that people know and people love, on plant-based solutions, on fermentation-made solutions, and also on cultivated foods and cultivated ingredients. This is where we are working on, and this is where most, if not all, of the companies in the incubator program are working on. I want to spend a few minutes on just giving a slight overview of where we are in this 3 pillars. First of all, plant-based. So plant-based we saw, of course, in different areas with different growth rates, but we saw big growth over the COVID time. But what we really must see is that we see some progress in plant-based, new categories, etc., coming, whole cuts coming into the play. But what we really see is that in a couple of countries we see stalling sales in the last years. This includes the US, this includes UK, the Netherlands, pioneers in this field. And this in other markets like Germany or Spain. We still see some growth in some categories, but it is really slowed down. And we see that a direct connection to public debates on ultra-processed foods, on is this healthy food, etc. We see, for example, in the UK, that this is really one of the drivers of declining sales there, this debate we have. On fermentation, we see that biomass fermentation, precision fermentation really gained attention over the last years. Nobody talked about fermentation 5 years ago. This really changed, and also we see a lot of investment going into the space. This really changed. But of course, at the moment, those products are not on the shelves, and a couple of companies have to go through those very rigid regulatory approval processes, which is fine as long as it's 2 years or so and not 5 years. But we really see that we are still early in the market. When it comes to cultivated, we really have to be honest and must say that the time horizon of bringing products to the market really changed. When I joined GFI 4 years ago or so, we really thought that we would be further at this point in time. And of course, this has effects, this had effects on VC investments, etc. But on the other hand, we see progress in this field. We see production getting cheaper, and we see that more and more products are approved for sales all over the world. And we also have first applications here in Europe. So we see some movements. This is what's happening in the industry. For the rest, I want to talk about the things that come from external perspectives, from policymakers. We see a value shift. I don't have to explain that we are moving towards more conservative ways of thinking all over the world, especially in Europe, in the US, etc. So I won't talk about the general trend, but what does it make with our sector? So what we really see, especially in the last 2 years, is that we really, as a sector, face headwinds. In last year, we really saw, especially in Europe and in the US, that cultivated was a target for a lot of people who fought against it, who tried to ban it on national level, and who tried to bring it on EU level or in the US on state level, and some Latin American countries as well, which had discussions there. But this was very limited to cultivated in last year. What we now see in this year is that plant-based really gets the target, especially here in Europe. There are some other countries as well, South Africa, etc., where this discussions on labeling are sometimes on the agenda. But what we can see at the moment is that on the right side, you really see here this cultivated thing. I talked, at the moment, it's very calm on this front. But what we see in Europe at the moment, on the EU level, is that old initiatives that were kind of buried 5 years ago in the EU Parliament now really resurfaced. Some member countries, like Czechia and others, some conservative policymakers in the EU Parliament, and very unfortunately also the EU Commission now issued proposals which ban certain terms here in Europe. There are differences, so what the Commission proposes is not that devastating like what we see in the Parliament, but this is a debate that is now live, that will, over the next 2 months or so, I think will get some public attention because we will see a plenary vote in 3 weeks in the EU Parliament, and we will have this discussion for the next 2 years or so. What we see is that both of these initiatives on plant-based, and by the way, this is not only plant-based, this labeling, this affects cultivated and fermentation as well. The roots for this are really, where does this come from? This comes from organizations in agriculture, for example, unions in Italy. This really comes from groups we didn't interact for a very long time. And this really affects how we must see, how we must talk about the sector, how we must talk about benefits of the sector. And I want to talk about this next. The societal benefits of protein diversification. If we are honest, for a very long time, we were very, very focused on 2 things. Some of us were talking about animal welfare as well. We did not as GFI because we don't think that this really resonates with a lot of people. But we were almost only talking about the climate and environmental effects. So we presented plant-based cultivated fermentation-derived foods as a solution to climate challenges, compared it to electric vehicles, to renewable energies. And we must see that the political discourse is moving into directions where renewable energies and e-fuels, e-mobility are not the en vogue topics for the moment. And this also affects how we should talk about those things. So climate is not the only thing. We have mitigating public health risks as well as a topic. We have food security challenges, and we have economic growth, competitiveness as topics. We didn't talk a lot about this in the last couple of years, but those are exactly the topics that really resonate with conservative policymakers, which are in governments worldwide at the moment. So we really must, for the next years, try to talk about these two things, food security, economic benefits. And the problem is, when talking about this, that there is almost no research on this at the moment. If you have a look worldwide, you will find almost no studies on this. So what I'm asking the sector to do is to rethink a couple of things. First of all, when talking about alternative proteins, really talking about food security, about economic benefits, and also think about some narratives, about some wordings we use. 3 years ago or so, we did always use the term protein transition, and this kind of resonates with if you talk with people from the Green Party or so. But protein transition is not an inclusive term. We really must think about our language, and for example, this involves things like turning from protein transition to protein diversification, even if it's not a very nice word. And also, we have to constantly ask ourselves whether terms like alternative proteins are the right language, even if I don't have a solution for this. Another point we really have to think about is this UPF thing. I already said this is such a big factor in whether we will gain more people buying our products, because there are so much false claims outside. We have to tackle this. We started with this. You see here 3 examples for communicating about UPF and really debunking myths. A study that GFI Europe conducted together with Planeat International, a ProVeg study, and also a German company, Planeat, who published a report. But this can only be the start. We have to do this, and also companies have to be aware that this is still a topic and that we have to deal with this topic. Coming back to that, we have to diversify our argumentation towards more economic benefits arguments. I already said that there is almost no research. I want to give you one example of research we did or commissioned as GFI Europe. At the beginning of this year, we published a report conducted by consultancy Systemic about the economic potential of alternative proteins here in Germany. There are almost no studies like this all over the world. I think there's one for Thailand commissioned by Madre Brava, but you won't find any economic benefit studies for most of European countries or regions, etc. At least not studies that are publicly available. So this is really something we have to build up on. We worked on this study, and at the moment, there are some studies, similar studies, which are conducted for Europe as a whole, also by Systemic, which we will publish in January, and in other world regions as well. So we are working on finding the figures we need for these discussions, but we are only at the very beginning. To show you how this looks like in Germany, I won't go into details here, but the study really had a view in 3 scenarios: business as usual scenario, a medium scenario, and a high ambition scenario. The difference between these scenarios is whether we get enough policy support. And we saw 3 different market development scenarios. And what you can see, if you then project those market scenarios in, what would this actually mean in terms of GVA contribution or jobs, that we could really see a lot of economic benefits. So up to 65 billion euros in Germany, in the German ecosystem along the entire value chain, and up to 250,000 jobs. Those are high figures, and we need those kind of figures and further studies, and also publicly conducted studies to further go onto this point. 250,000 may sound like a very high figure, but you really have to see that we're talking about the whole value chain here, jobs along the whole value chain. And I want to draw your attention to those 40,000 in the yellow one here. So we are also talking about agriculture jobs here, because when developing alternative proteins, those are not made just out of air. We need agriculture inputs for this. And this is a very important thing that we have to consider, because we must be aware that a lot of those initiatives, when talking about labeling, when talking about cultivated meat bans, etc., really come from this agriculture thing, from the agriculture corner. So let me just very briefly go into this farmer's question. We didn't talk with farmers for a very long time. We must be very honest. We had a food tech bubble on the one hand, and then were some farmers discussions, etc. And we really need to intensify this dialogue and show them that there is potential for them. So potential is, on the one hand, in new crop markets for farmers, and that they really have the potential to diversify their business. We also see opportunities when it comes to fermentation and cultivated, because this is an opportunity to use side streams, to valorize side streams that can use as substrate for as input for fermentation processes. So, but all those opportunities, for the moment, there's only very little research in it and a lot of uncertainties. Because if you ask farmers for the moment, there's a lot of uncertainties that are combined with, is there enough demand? What about the value chains? What about, is there communication with the rest of the value chain, etc.? So there are challenges in this that we have to tackle. Otherwise, we will continue to really have problems from this side. My last slide, I just want to summarize. I think at the moment we are in a challenging time, and there are some challenges. We see declining VC capital that goes into the sector worldwide. So for Europe, it doesn't look that bad, but worldwide, for the moment, it is declining. We see that this value shift that we see worldwide directly affects sales, and that climate protection, eating more plants, etc., is not the priority it was 2 or 3 years ago. But we also see that at the moment, there's also a momentum for the sector. So I'm pretty sure that all this environmental stuff comes back, because the problems will get bigger. That's pretty clear, and it's only a matter of time until those things are on the agenda again. Also, we see products getting better. We see the products getting better in terms of taste, price, convenience, and they will surely attract more consumers. And also, we see for regions like Europe that there is a chance, because the US, which was the one leader in this field at the moment, is not the leader at the moment anymore when it comes to investment and also when it comes to regulatory approvals. So we have all reason to be optimistic and to working on this. Thank you.
Talking about challenging times, this is why we are actually here and why you, startup cohort, are doing what you're doing. And I really believe that you are the change makers to tackle all these problems. And I think we should keep up the spirit of this warrior attitude that startups actually have. So, talking about startups, we are going to enter pitching day. And I'm very happy to announce our first speaker on stage. The stage is yours, Daphne from FoodHack Foods.
I'm starting, right? Okay. So, FoodHack Foods. We are in the space of alternative proteins. all of us here in this room want to help the cow. Existing methods like fermentation are good for single-unit proteins, but they struggle with complex ones. So a new category was formed a few years ago, molecular farming, beautiful idea. Let's use plants as living and breathing bioreactors to grow real animal proteins inside them. Sounds good in theory, very hard to execute. This is exactly why Finally Foods was formed. We actually deliver on having high levels of proteins expressed in plants, extract them efficiently in a quick time to market, and cost parity for commercialization. We start with casein, the holy grail of dairy proteins, and chose potato as the host. To give you a sense, when I say high levels of casein, we need 4 single potatoes to have the same level of casein as in 1 liter of milk, enough to have 100 grams of mozzarella. So how do we do this? We have an exclusive access to a proprietary platform that has sophisticated software, design, and modeling tools with which we design the protein and program the potato. This platform sits on an enormous database that basically has all the DNA, RNA, and proteins in the world open to us on the plant side and animal side. So we take the genetic sequence that the mammal needs in order to produce the casein and insert that into the potato without changing anything else in the potato. The potatoes are then grown in open field like any other potato, and the casein is extracted from them efficiently using existing industrial methods. To give you a sense of how quick we are compared to our leading competitor, look at these, to me, astonishing numbers. It took them 8 years to announce their first commercial field trial. This is a picture of our first field trial with potatoes expressing casein that took place only 10 months after we were formed. This is another look of how quickly we're moving. We're now scaling up extraction using the potatoes that we grew in the field. And I'm very pleased and proud to say that we announced this week the second strategic investment in Finally and our first commercial collaboration. Just good timing for Demo Day. And yeah, so casein is not the only protein that we can do with this system, but we are truly believe in focus. We actually designed the potato in a plug-and-play approach, so we can pretty easily introduce other proteins inside it. So who we are? So I'm, again, Daphna, the co-founder and CEO. Finally is actually my second startup, so I know what it takes. Basia, the co-founder and the CTO, she was the VP R&D of Evogene, the company that gave us the platform. So she knows the system in and out. And we have 3 dedicated scientists with a lot of hands-on experience. They might be watching me now, I hope. And amazing shareholders. So we have already 2 dairy companies invested in us, and we welcome CBC Group on board this week. We are described as a startup to watch by several media outlets. Egg Funder actually wrote about us for the 3rd time this week, literally 2 days ago, announcing a recent round. And I'm very proud to say that we have all it takes to bring to the world the first functional, complex, real animal proteins grown in plants. So we can help the cow and all of us, finally.
Thank you, Daphne. First pitch done, check. Now the first Q&A round of 3 minutes with the judges. So please shoot your questions.
First of all, thank you so much for this great pitch.
Thank you.
I think you have a very strong tech differentiator in 2 ways. You have the proprietary data, but also the novel potato strains, right?
Right.
As far as I've understood, you engineer the potato, but the end product, the casein, is not. Do you still face any regulatory issues when selling the casein in the end?
Okay, so just to make sure that I I'll say that. The casein is designed by us. The casein is not, of course, GMO, the potato is. Regulatory concern or regulatory issues are a key part of Finally Foods. We are under 2 regulatory systems, the ones that regulate how we grow the potatoes, and then the regulating on the protein itself. The protein itself is like any other from fermentation, because also fermentation is GMO microorganisms. So that part is the same. Growing transgenic potatoes, and we have consultants in the room that think that we can grow in Germany. We're going to start that project now, hopefully to grow next year here. But of course, we have to choose the territory that we grow in. Latin America, Canada, US, to understand the regulatory landscape. It's a key word for us.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I also see that you have a very good tech stack in place and also your team. Can you tell us a bit more about your commercialization strategy? Yeah, how do you want to set up a pipeline? What is needed that customers really start with producing with your product, etc.? So
for sure. So we are a B2B company, like a pure B2B. We might have products for investors like you to taste, but of course, we are selling the powder. We have our first commercial collaboration agreement signed for very nice quantities, and I cannot say more than that. So in terms of market traction, that's a big thing for us. We hope to be in the market in 2028 with them. Next summer, we should finalize which formulation of casein we are growing in a potato. Right now, we're evaluating several, and to test the functionality. I didn't go into how complex casein is. It has 4 different subunits. We're testing different formulations of casein to see if we need all 4. Yes, no. We're growing on all 4 now, and we're super excited about that.
Final question now.
Thanks so much for the pitch. Final question then. Could you shed some light on the unit economics, broadly at commercial scale?
For sure. So unit economics will depend on how much, the key parameter will be, it's actually twofold, how much protein we have in the potato. So by the time we are commercial, by 2028, we should have a very good amount of potato. One of the reasons we chose a potato is that its high capability to express high levels of proteins. I will not disclose the numbers. The second parameter is where we grow, like the territory where we grow the potatoes. The extraction is very cheap. For regulatory reasons, it will have to be separated. So cheap, yet separated.
Thank you.
Thanks, judges, for the question. Thank you again for the pitch, Davna.
Thank you.
And give it up for Davna. I'm happy to announce the second pitcher, which is KaYama from MycoVibes. The stage is yours.
At MycoVibes, we believe that the future of food begins at the roots, literally. We grow next-generation protein from shiitake mycelium to address the current protein system challenges. I'm Katarzyna, I'm the CEO and co-founder of MycoVibes Biotech from Warsaw, from Poland. The current protein system is calling for action. Animal proteins are resource-intensive and damaging ecosystem. Plant-based options, while growing in popularity, often fall short on nutrition and are highly processed. Across the board, there's an urgent demand for clean label and scalable options. And that's where MycoVibes comes in. Our solution is mycoprotein, but not just any kind, superior to animal and plant-based protein. Delivers full package, free from cholesterol, free from antibiotics, rich in protein and low in fat. Comparing to plant-based option, our compares all 9 essential amino acids, and it's nutrient-rich and clean label. We harness the power of shiitake mycelium, used for centuries in Asia for its health benefits. Shiitake lowers LDL cholesterol, supports immune system, is highly digestible and allergen-free. It's not just super ingredient, it's next generation food. Our proprietary platform brings together 4 key innovations. We grow shiitake mycelium using optimized nutrients, naturally enriched with B12, iron, and healthy fats. Ferment using cost-effective biofermentation and using food industry byproducts as a key feedstock. And we produce ready-to-use B2B format. Just mycoprotein market is on a fast track to be doubled in just 10 years and reach $1.5 billion in 2035. We are positioning MycoVibes in high demand B2B sector, food and dairy alternatives, and medical and sport nutrition. Our go-to-market strategy includes both licensing and direct product sales to B2B partners. What makes us different? Mostly players rely on legacy strain, which is Fusarium venenatum. We take a leap forward? Why does it matter? Because we deliver better nutrition, fewer allergens, high digestibility, and clean label product. We've already built strong traction. Over 2 years of R&D, we've achieved proof of concept and secured IP, signed several LOIs with B2B partners. We've been selected to some visible programs and signed NDAs for scale-up partners in Europe. Our roadmap is clear but ambitious. This year, we've secured 300K euro grant for R&D activities, and we are focusing on lab-scale fermentation optimization. In 2027, we are aiming to complete pilot optimization and initiate commercial rollout. In 2027, we are targeting industrial scale and full market entry. Our team blends science with deep expertise. I bring over 20 years in funding, innovation, and strategy. With experts in bioengineering, analytics, and food processing, we are a team ready to deliver. Now we are preparing for our first pre-seed round. We are raising 650K for transition from lab scale innovation to early commercialization. This funding round will enable us to complete pilot scale optimization and find our operations through mid-2027. Thank you very much for your attention and hope that you are sharing our vision of future of food industry. Thank you very much.
Well done. Now we throw over the mic to the jury. Shoot your questions, please.
I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
There are quite a few mycoprotein players already on the market, or not on the market yet, but in the food tech space, and not too many capturing the market. So what's your key differentiator? What makes you better than the existing myco companies?
I've already said what makes us different, the strain of mycoprotein. And actually, we describe our competitiveness through key aspects. Using biofermentation run as a highly efficient production, we are using food industry byproducts as a key feedstock, which lowers our production cost. And we are using very simple filamentous fungus, which is shiitake mycelium, used for centuries, and it's very well known of its health benefits.
So you would boil it down to cost efficiency?
Cost efficiency, definitely.
Okay, and this is how you want to capture the B2B ingredient market. So if you had to pitch one of the big industry players, how would you convince them to actually work with you?
Probably the cost of the final product would be convincing. And we are estimating the cost of the final product in powder format at the level of 2.5 euro per kilogram, which is highly competitive.
I hope you have enough margin.
We'll be fine, thank you.
Who goes next? Sarah, you haven't.
You said you provided, it's a filamentous fungi, and you provided in powder form. So I would have assumed the advantage is that it is a filament and gives a unique structure, but you mill it down and then it's a powder, so it just adds protein.
Yeah, I mentioned about powder format because we are our business model is B2B model, but despite that we have a B2B business model, we have B2B to C mindset. So even I mentioned about our R&D project, and even in the R&D project we have whole task to check how our powder performs in the end project, in the end product, in terms of solubility, in terms of texturing, in terms of some other functions in the end product.
So what would be the superior functionality of your ingredient be?
It delivers complete and balanced nutritional profile with B12 iron on the same level like red meat. That's the key advantage comparing to other players on the market already.
Thank you.
All right, I cut it here and guide you through the Q&A of the audience. Thank you, Katarzyna, for your pitch. Give it up for Katarzyna. And it's my pleasure to invite the next speaker on stage. It's Vanessa from Mindful Food.
It's so nice that people say food properly here. In Canada, no one knows what an umlaut is. So hi, I'm Vanessa Stonehouse, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Mindful Food, where we believe sweet should also be smart. You've had honey before, but you haven't had honey made from apples that would have normally gone to waste. So let's talk about waste. In Canada alone, we throw out nearly half of our food every year, including 500 million apples. Pollinators are declining, and store shelves are still stocked with industrial honey. We saw that gap as an opportunity, so we bottled the answer. Honey is a $10 billion industry stuck in the past. Bee-free alternatives are still rare, and none that lead with food waste as the hero, until now. Introducing Be Mindful Honey and Honey Hot, the first certified organic honey alternatives made from upcycled apples. Now in over 400 stores across Canada, launching in the US, used as an ingredient in other CPG products, and even popping up with different labels as part of our private label strategy. But let me tell you how we got here. A fire destroyed our first business, which made me leave the city and move to a small town where I found myself surrounded by literal mountains of apples going to waste. So I thought I can make honey out of this, and I did. But honey is just the beginning. We've proved phase 1, and our first private label order was nearly $100,000 for a single order. Oops. Phase 2, honey becomes a sweetener and other products, because not only is our honey a one-on-one replacement for bee honey, maple syrup, and agave, but it's also nearly half the cost of all three. Phase 3, honey becomes the base of a condiment line, so we can finally launch our honey garlic and honey mustard that we've been market testing for years. Our sales are set to quadruple over the next few years, but I want you to focus on the numbers on our profit margins on the bottom left, or right of the screen, because we're not just growing revenue, we're building profitability. And we're about to surpass our 300,000 revenue goal for this year, which is double last year's revenue goal, and the growth through 2029 is targeted to be over 10 million. So we're asking for $2 million in seed capital to hire our dream team, support larger production runs to reduce costs of goods, and invest in marketing, which we've never spent $1 on. And it's being proven by pros. Former lead baker of Panera Bread said that our honey outperformed bee honey in taste, texture, and versatility. And we've collaborated with many brands, including making beer, sauce, and tofu that you see here. One of the most exciting things that happened this year is we acquired the assets of a US-based vegan honey alternative company. We've also picked up a lot of hardware along the way and been featured on Plant-Based News, World of Vegan, and Green Queen. The upcycle product industry is bound to hit $75 billion by 2029, and just like other condiment brands that are popular, that are focusing on avocado oil as their call-out, we'll be focusing on upcycled fruit. Because one fruit is just the beginning. We've made honey from apples. but the possibilities are endless. You're looking at the team that's done everything so far. Jake and I have both been in the food industry since we were teenagers. I started a food truck when I was 17, also founded the first vegan meal delivery service in Vancouver. Jake has been in the restaurant industry since he was young, and he's the mastermind behind all of our creations and why our honey tastes perfect every time. We're also lucky to have Darko as a mentor and advisor, as he's founded a honey alternative brand in the US and beyond. So that's our story, from upcycled food to a food movement. We've done more with less than anyone has ever expected. Imagine what we could do with a few more apples in our basket. Thank you for considering mindful food, and please scan the QR code to go to a commercial of our story.
Well done. It's not over yet.
I know.
Yeah. Well, bear with us.
I can do this
3 more
part.
minutes.
This is good.
Okay. Thank you for the interesting pitch. I'm the one who really love having like honey in my meal. But then may I ask, like, for this one, like for my food, you really want it as a sweetener replacement, or is just like to mimic like the honey, because I see it's like something different, right?
Yeah, it's become a replacement for other sweeteners because of the cost of it is so much cheaper. So restaurants and other brands like using it because it's so much cheaper and it has the same consistency as all three. So we know that honey and maple syrup have different consistencies, but ours can be used for both. And agave is very expensive, at least in North America, so it's definitely more cost effective than that. So those applications have been favored by foods.
So then are you saying that you name it as honey to make it more?
Yes, well, when I first made it, everyone asked me how I got the bees to go to apple trees. They thought it was bee honey.
But then you also mentioned like for your product is like taste and texture is better than honey, right? But then for the people like me, I just want something that very close to the real one, right?
Well,
so
I have samples for
that?
you later, so you can tell me what you think.
Yeah, thank you very much. A very impressive pitch, I must say. And
Thank
I'm
you.
really tricked to taste it.
Thank you.
I saw your chart regarding the doors that you want to open. It's a very, very high acceleration there.
It is.
Can you tell us a bit more how you want to achieve this? And maybe can you show us the graph again?
Yes. So that is mostly because of the acquisition of the, where are we here? Of the US company. And this includes retail and food service, which is restaurants, as well as private label. So that's all of the doors combined.
Okay, but you want to jump in 2 years from, let's say, 500 to 4,000 doors, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we started off 4 years ago, and we were only about 50 stores, and the last year we've climbed to 400.
Okay.
And that's without the US company. We basically have acquired the assets, which the customers of a company the same size as we are now.
Ah, okay. Okay.
This was the last question already. I sorry, have to jump in.
I could do this part all night.
You're free to go. Cool. Give it up once again for Vanessa. The fourth pitch will be from Greg from Profillet. Give it up for Greg.
Hello everyone, my name is Greg Potter and I am the co-founder and CEO of Profillet, and we are an alternative seafood company. So the problem that we are addressing surrounds the fact that the demand for seafood is increasing now and in the future, and there are going to be supply shortages and higher prices. So there are alternative seafood products in the market today that can help to address this supply gap, but many of these products don't meet customer expectations in that they have poor taste, they're too expensive, they're perceived to be too processed, and they don't provide adequate nutrition. At Profillet, we have developed a new alternative whole-cut whitefish fillet, which has authentic taste and texture, scalable manufacturing, and nutritional parity with actual white fish. We have also developed a two-stage go-to-market approach to commercialize our product, where in the first stage, we will primarily sell to small independent restaurants. As we scale up our operation, we will align with more traditional distributor networks, selling to customer types like large restaurants, QSRs, and universities. In both stage 1 and stage 2, we're able to achieve a healthy margin of 35%, or greater than 35%, I should say. On the topic of price, Profillet's product is poised to undercut current competitors in plant-based seafood, as well as actual white fish. Within 16 months, we will be cheaper than the leading competitor for alternative white fish, and within 3.25 years, we will be cheaper than mid-range price white fish as well. So this is very compelling, as price parity is a major target of our industry. In terms of traction to date, we have proven novelty, commercial partnerships, and early customer interest. At the end of September, we will be submitting our US provisional patent application. We have partnerships with companies Rondo and Ardra. We also have US and Canadian manufacturing. And we also have a number of customers who are waiting to receive samples from us in November. We've also been very successful in raising non-dilutive funding to date. Specifically, we've raised almost €1 million from a number of agencies shown here on this slide. And this really helps to underscore the novelty of what we're doing, as well as the systems we're putting in place to grow and scale our business. In terms of how we stack up against the competitors, Profillet is the only alternative whitefish product on the market today which hits the metrics in all of nutritional parity, genuine fish-like texture, and cost parity as well. And this is in comparison to a highly commercialized player, Gardein, and another incumbent startup player from quite close to here, Ivo Foods. In terms of the size of the opportunity, it is vast for anyone who would like to get involved, with a serviceable, attainable market of $80 million US alone. However, if we were to consider the whitefish supply and demand gap, which was alluded to previously, this number could in fact be much, much larger, about $160 billion. Our company has been founded by individuals who possess all the skills and attributes to have initiated, scale, and commercialized Profillet. We have expertise across domains that include finance, sales, product quality, and leadership. We're currently here today as part of our pre-seed round, seeking $1 million Canadian in funding, sorry about the microphone, and this will help to extend our current runway by 24 months. This will also help to support a number of key milestones shown on this slide, which include production scale-up, hiring 2 FTEs, and securing further customers and commercialization partners. We currently have a soft commitment of $200,000 US, and we're supported by a large grant from Canada's Ocean Supercluster. With that, I would like to say thank you so much for having me here today, and I welcome any questions you have or any comments.
Now, the questions of the jury.
Okay.
Thank you for the pitch. I think it's a very interesting market that you're going into. My question is more on the production, because you said you're building a scalable business. This is, of course, something that investors love to hear. So I would like to better understand how you ensure, while you are scaling up, that the prices decrease also, in general, how your production strategy looks like.
Yeah, so far we have current small-scale production in the US. We're transitioning that to Canada. We've already conducted small-scale commercial runs with another partner in New Jersey, and so we are able to control costs and continue to achieve cost reduction, in part because the partnerships with the new manufacturers in Canada are subsidized by the generous Canadian government grant system, and we have a lot of ingredient resiliency, so interchangeability with different suppliers. So we're able to achieve very competitive input cost as well. And the labor cost in the region where we operate, which is in Eastern Canada, is a little bit cheaper than other parts of Canada or the US, so that also helps us to control costs as well.
Okay, so your partners can basically use off-the-shelf machines, so no fancy equipment needed?
Yeah, the machines are all off the shelf. The ingredients are off the shelf and commercialized as well. It's just the way in which we combine the ingredients and how we run the material through the off-the-shelf equipment. So it's all poised for scale, and the novelty is really just around the formulation and how we manipulate the material in the manufacturing equipment.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Another question from Clément.
Yeah, one more question. Replicating fish texture is notoriously hard. Can you elaborate a little bit on the technology behind? So what sets you apart from existing players? You mentioned Ivo Foods with 3D printed, for instance.
So I think it was on one of the slides, but essentially, like through our formulation, we're able to achieve nutritional parity with actual fish. And in terms of the texture, there's no thermal processing involved in the texturization step. It's a way in which we utilize the special piece of equipment and mechanically process it. So it causes our fillet to have a lot of layering induced to the point where you can have, you know, nearly 1,000 layers within a 1.6 millimeter fillet height range. So it's really a matter of how we process the material through this piece of equipment, and induces these layers. And there's no high temperature or pressure applied like extrusion processes, so it doesn't like pre-cook our product before it goes on to the next stage of production process.
And you're using off-the-shelf machines, or is
off the shelf? Yeah.
Okay, so it's highly scalable.
Highly scalable, and we, as I mentioned on the commercialization slide, we're partnering with Rondo. So they're a Swiss bakery manufacturer. They produce the equipment that we're using, and we're going to be working with them on a scale-up project to transition from the small commercial scale to the larger commercial scale.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Give it up for Greg. Final pitcher for the first round of pitches is Anna from KaYama Foods. Give it up for Anna.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anna, and I'm glad to introduce you KaYama, the new generation of fats. We as consumers looking for the healthy product, better nutrition, and food that actually tastes amazing. Fat is what gives food its taste, texture, and overall satisfaction. But today's alternatives force producers to choose between a health, taste, and texture, and they fail at both. And that's holding manufacturers back from untapped categories and high growth potential. This is what we do at KaYama Foods. We have developed a physically structured fats that look, feel, and perform like animal fats, but are made from natural ingredients. We transform healthy liquid oils into solid, hard structured fats with no chemical modification, preserving the qualities of original oils. The result, 90% less saturated fat, zero cholesterol, just a clean label fat. The technology is patent pending, and we have two prototypes. One is the beef tallow, which is great for meat alternatives, and another one is butter fat, which is good for bakery or chocolate applications. The benefits are clear. Our fat delivers the mouthfeel and juiciness you expect from the foods with a visible structure that mimics marbling or buttock chunks in the end product, just to mention salami. So that level of performance simply doesn't exist in current alternatives. Plus it's stable, no water involved, meaning it's shelf stable and requiring no refrigeration or special handling that makes shipping and storage easy. Traditional traditional fats like coconut oil and palm oil compromise on both health and functionality. 90% of new solutions are based on water, like microemulsion. They improve health, but still compromise on performance and stability. And we, at KaYama, we are closing the remaining gap by delivering a fully optimized, scalable solution with this hardness and level of fat with a high melting point, making us the best fit for the food industry. While we are early stage startup, we already completed our initial development. We produce tens of kilos, and we aim to commercialize our product in 1 year from now. Our vision is bold and applications limitless. We already tested our products in a wide range of food applications. We have secured LOI with one of the leading meat alternatives company abroad. And actually, if you recently we received the request for our first paid pilot from the customers from the CBC. And to make all this happen, we have passionate team. I'm driving the business side. Gad, my co-founder, is a vegan foodie and a technical expert. And Chef Yuval Ben-Eria, the most celebrated chef, joined KaYama to make culinary world bolder and juicier. And currently we are fundraising, and actually to complete our regulatory goals before commercialization and complete our customer pilots successfully. And we are raising $1 million, and a few days ago we just received an approval from we received the grant. Out of $1 million, we received $500K in non-dilutive, so we are looking for the match of $500K. So join us on our journey towards better food and a better world. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. And now handing over again the mic to the jury.
Thanks for the presentation. You mentioned that functionally it's superior to palm oil. Can you shed some light on how?
We are oil agnostic. We're just taking any liquid oils, like we tested it with the sunflower, canola, olive oils, every oil, and using our special unique process. It's a physical process. We just create this hardness that mimic the animal fat. So from functionality side, we reach this hardness and high melting points to mimic the texture and a taste of animal fats. And from the other side, just because there is no chemical modifications, and we preserve the qualities and even improve the level of original oils. So it's also healthy. We are not compromised on both. So we did reach the both healthy and functionality.
Thanks.
Thanks for the pitching. I'm not sure, like, can you please tell us about like the cost when you get a scale? Because I don't know the case here, but in Asia, the cost of the animal fat is just insanely low.
Yes. So currently we are competitive with the cocoa butter. Okay, we are cheaper than cocoa butter, and our target is to reduce our cost to the level of coconut oils, which is mainly used in the industry, in the food industry.
So, like, what about to compare with like animal fat? Like, what is the?
We are competes probably with the replacements like palm oil, coconut oil, and cocoa butter that currently used in, or butter or margarine, currently used in the industry, but in price parity now, just to answer your question, summarize it, now we are just cheaper than cocoa butter, and we targeted ourselves to be competitive with the coconut oil.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. You made it. We are about to jump in the second round of the startup pitches, and I'm happy to announce the next startup on stage. It's Susanne from Freundeskreis. Give it up for Susanne, please.
Is there anything more wonderful on earth than having a meal together with friends and family? And cheese, isn't it the best dessert? But not everybody can or wants to eat cheese for several reasons, for climate change, health reasons, or animal life. There are many cheese alternatives on the market, but we haven't found one we really like because of the ingredients. As you see, butter flavor, modified starch, or coconut oil. We have developed the perfect solution. It's a plant-based cheese alternative made from apricot kernels. And this is our camembert. She's tasty and creamy. Cheese making has a history of over 7,000 years, but we don't want to depend on animals. We use the same machines and the same techniques as a traditional cheese maker, but instead of milking animals, we are milking kernels. And we have a patent pending on our process. Apricot kernels are a byproduct of the fruit processing industry. We use them as a valuable resource, and they are cheaper than cashews, almonds, or coconut oil. Our product has as much as the same amount of protein, nearly, as a dairy cheese. This is our new product. It's a cottage cheese alternative. And she is really delicious. You can taste it afterwards. What we are really proud about is that we only need 4 ingredients, as you can see here. This year we were finalists on the vegan cheese challenge. In October we launched our our products in the biggest retailer of Austria, the Spar market. And next year we will expand to Germany. And we have already conversations with one of the biggest retailer of the DACH region. We have 2 business models. On one hand, we are making B2B2C in Europe. Our gross margin is up to 45%. For other markets, we plan to license our technology to industrial partners. In our pilot plant, we are currently scaling production volumes up to 2,000 pieces per week. And we work on diversification and new products. It is our passion for natural food that guides and drives us. Leo is the founder and the CEO. Mona is his partner and is the creative director. And me, I'm part of the team in operations and logistics. We have a long journey ahead of us. That's why we are asking for funding in production, in what's the word? Machines, and in manpower. Yes, food brings people together, and that's what Freundeskreis is about. Thank you, everybody.
We'll have the next startup on stage. It's Martina from Planeat. Give it up. Here you go.
Hi, I'm Martina, and I'll show you what's truly unique about Planeat. So, many of you already know that eating too much meat isn't very good for our health or environment, and plant-based meat and fish alternatives could be the answer to that. But there are some issues with products that are already existing on the market. Many of them are low in nutritional values, have got unpleasant taste and texture, and are high in saturated fatty acids. So, in Planeat, we come up with a solution. Our products that are juicy, tasty, and have got excellent texture, high levels of proteins and vitamins, and limited amounts of saturated fatty acids. So how do we achieve it? We developed Smart Fat, which is our internal ingredient that gives our products juiciness and great mouthfeel. Using diverse protein sources, we got complete source of protein in our products, good proportions of other nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. Combining it all together, we got superior taste and structure, which is the most important, speaking of food. Our portfolio covers top meat and fish categories. We started with raw plant-based minced meat alternative, going through burgers, meatballs, tuna, and pulled pork. Our products are for food service and retail, and 90% of our portfolio already achieved price parity to meat. So, looking at the competition, we stand out with high amounts of complete proteins, low amounts of saturated fatty acids in gluten-free products, enriched with vitamins and minerals, at lowest price point. So, it makes us compete more with meat than other plant-based meat and fish alternatives. focusing on our serviceable, obtainable market, which is for us Poland, Germany, and Czech Republic for the following 3 years. It's over 6 million euros market, and there's a lot to do there. So we already have got over 50 points of sales in Poland, in restaurants and retail, such as Carrefour and Spar. We're trusted by professionals with repeating orders from food service and retail. We achieved 70% gross margin on average on our products. Our incomes are rising every year, mostly based on food service. We've got our own facility with easily scalable production processes, and our smart fat is to be patented. We're raising 1 million euros with 250K in soft commitment already to accelerate our sales, export activities, further product development, and scaling our production. So, to achieve so, our next steps is strengthening sales in Poland, then going to the Germany, Czech Republic, followed by Spain, France, and the United Kingdom. We start with food service to gain stable income and then go to the retail. Me and Andy are founders of Planeat. We're partners in private life and business. We've got together 10 years of running joint businesses, including gastronomy in Poland. And right now we focus on product commercialization and sales. In our team, there's Paulina, who is our production manager with over 15 years experience in huge food production, and PhD Przemek, who supports us from the scientific point of view. So, let's go and create the future of food with us. I'll be happy to answer your questions, and please come try our samples. Thank you.
Well done.
Andy will join me for Q&A.
Ah, yeah. Now you go in the middle of the stage and you shoot your questions, please.
Thanks for the pitch. I'm curious how you're able to keep your prices low.
Okay, so maybe you'd like to answer?
Magic. No, just simple economics. So since 2021, we didn't raise any prices, and we're going to scale it up the production every year. So this is why we can order much larger batches of the ingredients to keep the prices low. And from this perspective, we've calculated it stays, and we can stay the same prices, gain more margin, and when the prices of meat grows and everything grows from before, because everything grows, we can keep it really low because we're growing each year.
Great, thanks.
Also, I'd like to add that at the very beginning, our prices were way higher than meat, and right now they didn't rise, but they're not so high since the price of meat has gone higher.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you explain us a bit more about your go-to-market strategy? You mentioned that you are addressing food service as a first step, but here we saw Metro, obviously, and they are more addressing independent restaurants, etc. How's it with food service in general, fast casual chains, etc., quick service restaurants? This is the first question, and then, of course, how you want to build a brand for your retail strategy when you are working with food service.
So I'll start. Thank you for the question. We already work in our products in Poland, mostly sell it to the food service, and a smaller part of our income right now is from retail chains. So our roots are in gastronomy. We run a vegan restaurant, ice cream parlor, cafe. So from the very beginning, we exactly knew what chefs like and want, and that's how we approach them, and that's where we've got good success. On the Polish market, there is also quite a big part of dietary food caterings. These are one of our biggest customers now, where we send just pallets of our products. So that's the part about gastronomy, food service in general, and we want to do the same on other markets. When the chefs really like our products, they want to order it, and that's this easy.
I mentioned, I mean, the scalability in the food service sector comes with the quick service restaurants where you can easily scale, like KFC, Burger King, etc. So where you not have one chef who decides what comes on the menu and whatnot. And so my question was more related, do you have some kind of triangle strategy in place that you first want to address fine dining or normal restaurants, as you mentioned, then go to quick service?
Yeah.
So you differentiate the food service and HoReCa, if I correct here. So the HoReCa is like, you have a restaurant, someone else has a restaurant, and food service is like McDonald's.
Yeah, I'm differentiating between, let's say, independent restaurant and chains, exactly.
Yeah, sure. So now we have some chains also in Poland, like in Warsaw, Tri-City. So we have some chains that but it's a local chain, so 15, 20 stores, something like this. And we are also contacting the bigger chains like Max Burgers or IKEA also. So we are going to go there, but it takes a longer time to be.
Yeah, I just like to add that right now, one of the biggest Polish burger restaurants chains is testing our burger patties too. So we want to be in every HoReCa possible.
So going for the restaurants and then the bigger ones.
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Thank you for the pitch. Thank you for the answers. Now you are off to go off stage. And I will invite the next speaker on stage. It's Tabitha from Updairy. Give it up for Tabitha.
So good afternoon. My name is Tabitha. I am co-founder and CTO at Updairy. Updairy is a Brazilian precision fermentation company working in the dairy space. Back in 2022, it was clear that the production of dairy could not rely only on traditional methods. Precision fermentation was gaining space and several startups were emerging around the world, as you can see in the map, but Latin America was falling behind. And that's why we created Updairy, because we wanted to place LATAM in the global fermentation scenario. And we decided to work with whey protein. And why? Because there is a big opportunity in LATAM. The whey protein market in LATAM is supposed to reach $1 billion by 2030, and Brazil alone represents more than 50% of market share. And here is how we do this. So first, we need to insert milk protein genes inside a filamentous fungi. But what is a filamentous fungi? It's like the mold that grows in bread and fruits. So once we get the fungi, we grow it inside a bioreactor, receiving sugars from agri-food wastes. And then, after the fermentation, we recover the protein, we purify, we transform it into a powder, and this is the final product of Updairy that can be used in several applications. But why do we work with filamentous fungi? Because they are the most powerful microbial machinery to produce proteins. They can be up to 5 times more efficient than yeasts and 50 times more efficient than bacteria. We are using a strain that is grass and that grows on low-cost materials that are largely generated in Brazil. But the key point for every precision fermentation company is how to move from lab to industrial production. That's why we established a partnership with a food conglomerate that will give us access to 300,000 liters of fermentation capacity. We also did a technical economical evaluation with them, and we know the production levels that we need to achieve in order to have a commercial product. Our journey started in 2023 when we received a pre-seed investment of $250K, and we used this amount to perform the proof of concept and the MVP. For the next 3 years, we are going to work on the optimization of the strain and to perform the bioprocess at pilot scale to advance with the commercial conversations with our partner. And we are going also to work in the safety studies to get the regulatory approval. And our plan is to launch the protein by 2029. We are currently fundraising $1.6 million, $1 million in equity, and the rest will come from grants from Brazilian agencies, and this will give us 24 to 36 months of runway. that will be mainly used to reach the production levels that we need, perform the scale up into a pilot plant, and also get the safety certification. We are a multidisciplinary team with a complementary set of skills. Harsh is the CEO. He leads in strategy and fundraising. And I, Juana, and Professor André Damasio, we lead the technical development. And we are backed by advisors that are specialized in food science and regulatory affairs. So this is Updairy, and I want just to state that we are just not just replacing dairy, but we are redefining it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now it's your turn again to ask questions. Sarah.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you for the nice pitch. There's quite, as you mentioned, there's quite a number of startups already working on this, and one fairly matured one that is working also with filamentous fungi. And it is, whey protein is a commodity. It's like, it's a very low price and used in products which are also fairly low price. Like, what is your competitive advantage towards the other startups? And how do you think you will achieve the prices that are necessary for the industry?
Thank you for the question. It's of course a key point. So we are trying to combine several factors, like the fact that we are using filamentous fungi, that they can reach higher levels of production. And they are also capable to grow low-cost substrate. So this combination of things can lead us to the price parity that we want to achieve. And what is interesting is that we did this technical economic evaluation with the industrial partner, considering their conditions and the conditions that we are already developing. And the production level that we need to achieve is possible only with filamentous fungi, and we know that this strain is capable of reaching this level. So that's why you're going to spend the next years improving this strain to get to that. And then we are more confident that we can reach this price that we need to reach in order to compete with whey that is a commodity. Yeah.
Can you maybe elaborate on your sales strategy? So who's your target customer?
We are currently talking to companies that they sell ingredients. So, and then there will be the final company that will use our ingredients. So this company that we have this partnership, they sell ingredients all around the world, but they are very interested in work with us because of Latin America. We are starting with whey, but our idea is to have a diverse portfolio to explore possibilities with other companies as well that sells ingredients.
Do you also support in application formulation?
It is in our plan. Right now, we are not totally focused on this, but yeah, we understand that in order to convincing the industry that our ingredient works, we will need to develop as well these formulations together with them. Yeah.
Cool, thank you very much. It's always important to show them how they use it, right? Yeah. Thank you very much. I am happy to announce the next startup, and please give it up for Vidya from Meatless Kingdom.
Hello everyone, my name is Vidya Putra. I'm CEO and co-founder of Meatless Kingdom. We are building the mushroom-first platform for global protein market. So our startup tried to solve three main problems that we see. The first one related about human health. So Indonesians suffer from protein deficiency, cholesterol, and also diabetics, mostly because of their diets. The second one, we import a lot of beef. Like last year, it is huge number. And the third one, our food security is still below of global standard. Our platform contains like three main categories. The first one, Meatless Kingdom, ready-to-eat plant-based meat products. The second one, mushroom snacks, which made like mushroom and seaweed, which has like high protein and also high fiber. And the third one, mushroom seasoning to replace MSG. And these products works very well in Indonesia. Why Indonesia? Because Indonesia is the 4th largest population in the world, with the potential of plant protein is around 120 million US dollar, and mostly covered by tofu and tempeh right now. Our products are already in the market and cover some of Indonesian favorites such as dendeng and rendang. And what makes us different? Our products are research-based by our food technologies team with high protein and high fiber. We also have shelf-stable, so it is easy to distribute. And the most important thing, we have halal and BPOM certification, and also we have competitive price compared to meat. Besides the taste, we're really concerned about sustainability. Based on our calculation, we can replace around 3.6 tons of beef last year, with the impact like reducing carbon dioxide, methane, use of water, and also waste. Related about nutritional advantage, our products has lower calories, lower fat, and also high in fiber. Even during COVID, we can grow our sales triple and also look to grow the quickest this year. Our target is to be EBITDA positive this year, and our products already sell in across like 400 stores right now, mostly in Indonesia. We also achieved like this couple of months, we achieved all-time high revenue, around 32,000 US dollar right now. And we also export to several countries like Malaysia, Singapore, Netherlands, and some other countries as well. So we have established many domestic and international partners, both B2B and B2B2C, some of them like Ritz-Carlton and also Sodexo. We also have clear and strong product innovation based on mushroom. Since the start, we have won several awards, including Scale It Up Challenge. We become the first winner of Scale It Up Challenge in Asia Pacific in 2023. With combination of scientific and also global leadership, we believe we can lead Meatless Kingdom to success. We already received support from BIV, Lever Foundation, Sustainable Food Ventures, and also ProVeg Incubator. And currently, we are asking for 500,000 US dollar, mostly to scale up our facility right now because the demand is increasing. And also, with this amount of funding, we target to reach like 1 million US dollar sales within these 2 years. Thank you for your attention, and join us to bring more plant-based meat products in Indonesia and global market. Thank you.
You go first, Ben.
Okay. Thanks for the pitch from Asia.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So may I ask, like, by your product category, what is the proportions of the three?
Like the sales or what?
Yeah, the sales.
Okay, like the sales right now, I would say like 30% is from ready-to-eat products and 70% from the snacks and seasoning.
Okay, and what make your product different from the product out there, like the plant-based product out there in the market?
Yeah, the first thing is because we make ready-to-eat products, which is, I think, mostly plant-based meat out there in frozen food. And with our technology, we make it ready to eat. It is self-stable within like 1 year and 1.5 years. This is the first thing. And the second thing, we use spices and also with our certain formulation because we targeted Asian market. We know we know the taste, we know the formulation. So I think we are quite strong in that way.
When you mentioned about Asian market, we know already like we already have like some kind of how to say like plant-based, right? Like tofu, like mushroom in our like typical menu. Do you want to really attract these group of people, or do you want to really attack like the meat lover?
Okay, so actually what we see is we want to give some option for meat lover, especially because sometimes, what based on our experience, our customer mostly they want to bridging from become like meat lover to become vegetarian, but it's even like quite hard to eat vegetables only. This is the first thing, and the second thing actually they are health concerned, which is like they eat fat before a lot of meat, and then based on doctor's suggestion, they want to eat less meat. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Could you expand a little bit on the go-to-market strategy? You mentioned that you're based in Indonesia, and that's your primary market. And then you mentioned a couple of countries, but where do you see the biggest potential?
Yeah, so far we believe that our own country is the huge market. So right now, 90% of our market actually in Indonesia. But then why we export actually when we have exhibition out there, and then some reseller, distributor approach us, and then we just started to sell. But basically, we are not really into like need to export our products, but then some others, like interest with our products, and then we just sell it. So this is
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you for the answers,
Sure.
and I'm looking forward to taste it afterwards. Yes, cool. I guide you off stage. And I'm happy to announce the last pitcher of tonight. It's Monica from Brew Bites. Give it up for Monica.
Hi, as they say, last but not least, okay? So come here with me on a very short journey. So my name is Monica, and I'm, as mentioned, co-founder of Brew Bites, the first protein alternative that has upcycling in German market. We have talked to a lot of chefs, and we kept hearing the same thing over and over again. We don't like anything fake anymore. We want real ingredients that perform under pressure just like we do. And they are right. Kitchens are reaching their limits. They had never so little budget as now. The staff is scarce. And, well, guests got used to great meat alternatives. So what do they do now? Well, Brew Bites come in right in this place. We not only support and offer great products in taste and texture with friendly price and also very important versatility in their kitchens. Our first product, Chunks, consists of only 4 ingredients, making a clean label, and great part of it comes from side streams. So side streams come from any food product whatsoever, actually. And here in Germany, we really focus on beer. So one of the main side streams we use is Brewer's Penguin, it's called, and pumpkin seed flour from oil production. And with our second product that we launched actually this month, we not only improved in protein content, but also in side streams. And it was not enough for us, so next year we gave ourselves a challenge. Why not make just products from side streams altogether? And today, physically at least, we are in Germany, and our company is in Germany too. And this is not only country of beer, but also the largest plant-based market in Europe. Our business model couldn't be more straightforward. We outsource our production and sell it directly for around 10 euros per kilogram, only for B2B. And this is a price that many of our competitors have not managed yet, with a margin of 30 to 40%, still growing. Our team, of course, every startup has a great team. We all do, of course, here with my great colleagues. And my co-founder sitting right there if you have any questions later. So Elvira drives our operations, Wojtek, our sales and growth, and myself, I lead innovation and finance. And our great team is really accompanied by amazing advisors that are ex-CEOs and COOs of great big food companies and accomplished chefs. Our traction is here. We reach 100,000 euros currently in revenue, and we grew in 3 sales channels as of now, and one of them, I found out today that there's a concept called Studienwerke, or student organizations, and in every 5th of them in Germany, we are available. So far, it has been great, but guess what? It can be even better. With 1 million euros in seed round, we can not only grow our revenue by 500%, get a new product and another sales channel. Chefs wanted it, we built it, now we're scaling it. So I invite you to redefine what means plant-based. Enjoy the upcycling revolution. Thank you. Also enjoy.
You keep that? Well done, Monica. Yeah, you have to answer the questions, unfortunately.
Do I have to?
Yeah, you have to. Devika.
I'll go easy, but maybe not. But if you can share a little bit about, like, with upcycled ingredients, the challenge is always in securing the supply chain. So what's your strategy there? What kind of partnerships do you have?
Absolutely. So luckily, whatever you ate today, was it coffee, bananas, I don't know, they make side streams. This is how just food industry works. So we have plenty of them, first of all. And like, I wish we could run out of it, but I'm pretty sure in my life it will never happen. So this is one side. Another side, we work with different side streams, so they complement each other. And the long-term technological strategy we have is also that we can exchange them between each other, not losing the quality of the product. And this is exactly what we are working on.
Thanks.
Why did you choose a B2B only strategy, I have to ask? And how do you make sure that you create brand awareness towards the end consumer, that you're not exchangeable and that chefs can actually just replace your ingredients by something cheaper, for instance?
I'll start with B2B. So we have amazing journey so far in B2B. We see great opportunities in this market and great partnerships we already built and we're building further, which comes to the second part of the question, that partnerships in B2B is everything. It comes all through personal, and we are building our brand within. We go to, my colleagues just came back, my co-founders just came back from events with, let's say, student service Tagung, I don't even know how it's called, meeting, where all of they meet. So this is part of the brand building, of course, and we want to write down, our brand is everywhere to see. So we're really taking care of that.
Yeah, based on Clément's question, I was also asking myself, because with such a high protein content, it would absolutely make sense to address all the sports sector and all the people that are in muscle mania, I would say.
Well, we need to start somewhere. We are very efficient as a small team, but we're still a small team. So we don't, of course, we want to go further and big later on, but now we wanted to focus on something, and I think we have great opportunities still in food service first, and then we'll come to retail.
Cool. Thank you, Monica. You are allowed to go off. So the votes are in, and you are the lucky one to announce who won.
Yes, correct. I have the pleasure to announce the first award, actually. And we will always begin, as always, with the audience award. So I think everyone, maybe here in the room and online, has cast a vote on who they thought was the best pitch or the best startup. And let's see what the results are. For me, I want to bring to the stage Gabrielle from the team.
Brew Bites.
Congrats, Monica. Well deserved. Congrats to Monica and the team, Elvira and Wojciech, for winning the audience award. And now I think the jury this year was super quick with compiling all the results. And I'm very curious to see who the winner of the jury award is this year.
This year's jury award winner is Updairy.
Congrats, Tabata. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you all so much for joining today. Thanks to the jury, thanks to our startups and the audience online. I hope you really much enjoyed the 10 pitches of the startups, the questions and discussions. We're very proud of this fantastic group today.